Let's dive into something really fascinating. Think about Atlas for a second. He was this titan, condemned by the gods to bear the weight of the heavens on his shoulders. Over time, he transitioned not just into a burden bearer, but into a symbol, the guardian of men. This idea that he's supporting not just the sky, but the hopes and dreams of humanity is quite profound.
And when humans pray for strength, every prayer feels like another weight.
It's almost like, can you imagine being Atlas, feeling this unending pressure of people's expectations?
Wow. That's a really vivid analogy. It's like he becomes this almost mythical personification of our own burdens, right? But what happens when he can't handle all of that pressure? I mean, do we ever think about that? It must be devastating for him.
Exactly. And that breaking point, when he finally let go, it's like a metaphor for our own lives when the weight of expectations becomes unbearable. Now, this brings us to Germany, which is often called the Atlas of Europe. It's fascinating how they have this massive economy, a GDP of $4 trillion. That's a huge responsibility, similar to Atlas, carrying economic burdens for other European nations.
Right. So Germany is this powerhouse, but what's happening now? You mentioned it's facing significant challenges. Can you elaborate on why things are spiraling down for them?
Absolutely. To understand this, we need to look back a bit. The problems really started peaking in 2018 when industrial production hit its high mark, but they didn't implement the necessary reforms because of bureaucratic inefficiencies. It's like being on a really smooth road and then suddenly hitting a pothole.
Ooh, that's such a cool metaphor. So they were cruising, but suddenly, boom, pothole. But what about the whole renewable energy push? I heard it's affecting their energy sector. What's going on there?
Yes, that's a big part of it too. Germany has been pushing toward renewable energy, which is commendable. But in the process, they decided to eliminate coal and cut off Russian gas. Think of it as trying to transition to a high-speed train while the tracks need major repairs. This sudden shift has resulted in increased production costs, and consequently, it's created a crisis in their energy sector.
Wow, so it's like they were trying to be eco-friendly but ended up choking their own industry? And that's why they're facing this economic collapse, right?
Exactly. And it's not just about the energy sector. There's also this increased demand for cheaper products coming from places like China, which makes it tougher for German industries to compete. Imagine a local bakery trying to sell its artisanal bread, while a huge chain offers pre-packaged bread at a fraction of the price.
It's a tough battlefield out there.
Yeah, that's a really striking image. So the people are feeling it too with rising energy and food prices, right? Their buying power is decreasing?
Absolutely, that's the crux of it. As energy and food prices rise, it shrinks the purchasing power of German citizens significantly, meaning they buy less. It's like you're left with a juggling act. Every time you try to buy something, you're just left with nothing but empty pockets at the end of the day.
Oof, that sounds tough. And then, what about immigration? You mentioned rising tensions there.
Yes. Amid all these economic and industrial shifts, the concerns over immigration have grown. While many immigrants have adapted successfully, there is a portion that remains, let's say, resistant to integrating into German society. It's causing social tensions, almost like a stagnant pond that needs stirring up.
Oh wow, that's really eye-opening. So it's not just about the economy collapsing, it's about societal issues rising up like a boiling pot. How do you think this will unfold in the long run?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The consequences of these systemic issues could explode into something far worse than economic decline. We're looking at a situation where economic problems intertwine with societal issues, leading to a crisis that's multifaceted, almost like a storm brewing on the horizon, with waves hitting on different fronts.
I mean, do you think, is there a chance they could recover? Or is this like the beginning of a downward spiral?